Hey guys, Rev from Into Gaming. Do a quick video on orthographic selection. So basically, selecting assets and actors that you've placed into your world from an orthographic viewpoint. I've previously shown that you can actually just click on the actual actor element, whatever, in the actual world outliner. I've showed that you can do it in 3D space just by clicking. But what I really haven't, well, let me do this too. I've also showed that you can actually come down in an orthographic and select. You can hold control and do a multi-select that way. But what I haven't shown is a left click drag multiple select. So creating a selection area. Now, when you do selections like this in orthographic view, you have to be conscious of 3D space. Even though you're going to be working in a 2D viewport, you're still working overall in 3D space. So from a top-down view, you have to consider it from the left view, or the front or the right, that I'm going to be selecting, I'll be drawing my grid up here, and anything from that point down will be selected. So to show you that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to collapse everything over here. But go for building one, and what I want to select is just the stuff that's inside the selection. Now the red lines inside those selections are collisions from the radius for the spawners. Just conscious of that. So it's inside my selected area, therefore when I release my left mouse it will select it, but that's not all that it's selected. It selected the sky sphere from my atmosphere, which, let me get it here, which is the clouds, the little scene up there, the cloud scene. It selected the actual landscape itself, which you can see the contour around the landscape is highlighting yellow. So when you go to do orthographic selects, you have to be very aware of what you're actually going to be able to select. You'll get everything that's in there. Literally, everything that's in your selection area will literally be selected. Now, the way to get around that would be you have to hide these items from view. And the way you do that is you click on the little eye. And by doing that, next to these folders, I've now taken the atmosphere and everything that's in the atmosphere out of the equation, and the same with building one. So now when I go to orthographic top view, the only things left is the landscape trees, which are bound to the landscape, but it's in its own little setup, and my building here, building one. So now when I go to select, I'm just going to left click on my mouse, hold it down, and drag. It's going to select everything in that grouping. So when we do orthographic selects, you can see that you can do a drag select, basically like lassoing an area. You can do that, but you have to be mindful of elements in a 3D space, not just a 2D space, a 3D space. And you'll have a better process of this as you work with it. But the ultimate way to do the selects is by grouping everything in folders, like I did with the building one. Everything in there it's broke down. So you have exterior, I have loot for the exterior in its own folder, all the effects, the deco, the decorations. So I have my light effects, I have the decorations, and then I have the loot for inside the building. I could actually name that interior loot, and the loot for the crates I could have just called exterior loot. And then you have the structure itself, which you could actually break down even further this is the preferred way to do it. So if I want everything in this hierarchy, I just expand everything out in this grouping, and then just right click, select all descendants. And that would select everything that I needed to select for this environment versus doing the highlight and making sure that everything else was turned off. So if I want to grab building 0 from orthographic view, I have to turn off the atmosphere, hide it, and then hide building 1. So I'm not catching any of those collisions from the spawners. So that's the preferred. Doing it, the folder based is preferred, but over time in large environments, this whole thing, even with collapsed folders, will be a scrolled column. So it can get tedious trying to work with orthographic selections in that manner, like a multi-select in that manner, when dealing with a lot of assets in your world. So just wanted to cover that and make sure that it was documented. So hopefully that makes sense and you have a little bit more enlightenment with Unreal Engine 4 and selecting your assets.